And today I have the absolute pleasure to be in conversation with James Donovan, based out of Canada. Now, let me say this that we all know as entrepreneurs, without leads, there are no clients. If we can't close those leads, there's no money. But the critical thing is focusing on who is your ideal client, who's waiting to buy from you once they understand what it is you're going to help them with. And so you've got to be articulate in that. So today we've asked James to jump on. Let's have this conversation. James, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Business and Wealth Show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mac. I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Hey, James, while you're there, why should people stay and listen to this in its entirety? What is it they're going to get that's going to make sure their time is worthwhile in terms of listening to everything that we have to discuss here?
I can guarantee at the end of the call, they're going to know exactly where to go to find their next opportunities to have to sell their services, product, widget to.
Yeah. And so if you're listening to this, make sure that you don't miss anything. Take notes where you need to share with your friends, colleagues as well. So, James, let's start with, because I know you're a business to business lead generation expert, LinkedIn expert. So we are talking to the right person when it comes to marketing and generating leads. Now, tell us about your entrepreneurial background. How did you get into entrepreneurship? And also, how did you get into into this?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a crazy story. I've always wanted to work for myself. I never really knew what that was going to look like. And I was living in Toronto at the time, and I was actually selling ad space on adult websites for about a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
So I got a little taste of what online marketing, what that looked like, how much money there is to be made online, what it's like to sell over Skype, sell over messaging people. And I actually got laid off from that job. And about a week or two after being laid off, trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be, I came across an ad on Facebook about, you get five clients, charge them 2K each, you make 10 grand. It's super easy. I was like, oh, that sounds great. Make 10 grand a month and it's really easy.
Right.
Well, it turns out that it's a lot harder than, just go out and get five people to agree to pay you 2 grand a month each.
Uh-huh.
But I bought into that course with essentially all of the savings I had at the time, which was very little. So it was a huge gamble. And then I basically just was out literally knocking on businesses' doors, biking to sales calls in Toronto. The first sale I made was at a hair salon in Toronto, and I walked in with my laptop. Here was the presentation. It was like a pre-built slideshow from the course that I bought. Said, "Hey, we're going to run Facebook ads." The guy wrote a check to me. I still have it in my office. And I went home and I was like, "Oh my God, okay, I guess I guess I got to figure out how to like properly do this now." And it's been 5 years since then. We just had our fifth year anniversary, and it's grown a lot, obviously, since that point. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how we initially got started, or how I initially got started in the entrepreneurial space. I got let go from a job selling ads on
But
adults.
tell me something. For some people, that would be just a scary proposition. You mean you walked into a salon, you said, "Hey, my name is James. Check this out. I can make you so much more money and more people coming into your salon. Watch this presentation." How did you feel making that presentation? Oh, actually, let's back us. How did you feel opening the door, walking in, and then suddenly you've got to pitch? What was that? Tell me about the emotion, the feeling about doing that.
It was petrifying. I was very sweaty and nervous the whole time.
Right.
I I've done door-to-door sales before this. I was selling gas and electricity while backpacking through Australia for like 7 months. So walking up and pitching people and like cold calling, I was comfortable with, but doing it for your own product where it's
Right.
100% your name attached, whether the salon owner at the time knew that or not, I did, and there was like a ton of imposter syndrome, and it felt completely different from knocking on any residential door saying, "Hey, I can help reduce your gas and electricity bill." It was very scary, but I tried to just get through the process, and then as he started to say yes, I was like, "Okay, we're doing this. All right, yeah, it's going to be X amount, and this is the company name, and yes, we take check. So it was quite an interesting experience. It's definitely something I've done a lot of reflecting on this month, again, as we cross the 5-year anniversary, what that first sale looked like.
Well, congratulations, because a lot of people started in business, that first sale, that first customer, they will never forget because it was because there's so much pent-up emotion around that. And here's a fact that if we don't go out and speak to people, there is no clients coming in. And if there's
Yeah.
no clients coming in, there's no money coming in. So fantastic. Let's get into the work you do as a lead generation expert, B2B specifically, and LinkedIn expert. Tell us about that work at 92 Media and how it helps clients, how it helps your clients. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So I think where a lot of people miss the mark when it comes to lead gen, especially in the B2B space, is they've tried LinkedIn in the past and they say it doesn't work, or they're used to getting really spammy, long-winded messages all the time. So like, well, I get these and I don't like them, so it doesn't work. But the thing is, all of those messages you're getting from people are really poorly written and they're not to a targeted audience. So if you just keep the conversation short and actually act like a human, 2 to 3 sentences, focus on what your audience's pain points are, and have a very indifferent call to action, and you know you're getting in front of the right people, you're going to see a huge difference in success. So, what we do for our clients, they're all primarily in the accounting space, but the same strategy applies for anyone B2B. We've done this for water restoration companies, commercial cleaners, you name it. But getting in front of, say, the HVAC or construction owner, hey, when was the last time your CPA provided you with a job cost analysis? We already know they probably have a CPA, so let's call it out in that first sentence.
Mm,
Get them thinking about their current situation. And then we just finish something along the lines of, does it make sense to hop on a call to see if, we can get get your opinion on a few of our strategies? That's it. It's
that is,
not, hi, first name, I see you work at company name. This is what we do, and it's a huge novel because that stuff is garbage and it doesn't work.
yeah, and it detracts people. I think it gets people away from when I get those things, I'm very much, what does this person want? They asking me this, asking me this, asking me that. Well, what you're saying is get to the point, because I
Yep.
suppose busy people are busy people, and if it's the right person you're speaking to with the right pain points, they're more likely to jump and answer and engage with you. Is that right?
100%. And don't get me wrong, you're going to get people who get annoyed, who are going to get upset, and they're going to tell you off, and they're going to say, "Why are you pitching me right away? Like, where's the intros?" But if you're busy and you value your time, why deal with all of the essentially the fluff just for them to still say no?
Right,
So if
right.
you want to just have a conversation with them about what you do and how you can help them, you're on LinkedIn to network. Just
Mhm.
go straight into that. As long as it's done in a polite way and you're piquing their curiosity, you're going to be surprised at how many people actually say yes, let's have a conversation.
James, you work with mostly people in the accounting space, CPAs, accountants, and a fourth. How did you decide on that particular niche? Coming from the background that you came, you could have picked different niches, but why accounting?
Yeah. Well, when I first got started doing all of this, it was just me. And again, it was biking to different, sales calls in Toronto for anyone who wanted to talk about Facebook ads for their small business. COVID hit like 2 months into starting my business or three
Oh,
months into
wow.
starting the business. Like it was pretty close to when that happened. I ended up getting my account restricted on Facebook. So I was like, what else are we gonna do to try to generate opportunities? I learned about a strategy on LinkedIn. So I was like, all right, let's do B2B now. With the pandemic hitting, I thought, well, commercial cleaners seem to be the only ones in business or
Oh,
open
okay.
up their doors. So we started doing this for commercial cleaners and it worked well. The problem was they were restricted to a 40-mile radius. In some markets, it would really depend on how large their population is. So we ran with that for about a year and a half. And the joke now is how we landed on accountants is that, it's just at the top of the alphabet as we started to find a new niche. But had some other contacts in the marketing space who said, "Hey, we work with accountants. It works really well. They can work with people nationwide. A lot of them have a larger ticket offer." So I said, "All right, let's give that a try." And it wasn't very long into starting to work with accountants. We were introduced to the employee retention tax credit during COVID in the US. And
Mhm.
that's where we spent a lot of our time for the last 2 or so years. Coming out of the pandemic, I was like, well, I love working with the accounting space. They have money, they provide a great service. Everyone needs an accountant, everyone needs a CPA in their corner. What can they offer that's still high ticket? And now we're working with a lot of firms who offer like the advisory fractional CFO type work.
Indeed. And why B2B rather than B2C? I know B2B accounting, you got it nailed down, but someone of your experience in marketing and knocking on doors and doing lead generation, why B2B specifically for you rather than B2C?
Yeah, I'd like to think that with B2B, there's generally higher ticket sales to be made
Hmm.
versus B2C. Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're selling, of course. You can still have some higher ticket stuff, but I don't know. I just like the B2B space. You're constantly speaking with other professionals, other decision makers, owners, founders, presidents. So I don't know. To me, it just seems like an easier conversation to get on that same level with somebody.
Right, right, right. How are things now? And you're about to transition into your fifth year of business, knowing that statistically, 80% of businesses are out. They are gone. 80% are gone within less than 5 years. You're still going. I'm still going after 25 years in business, different businesses that I own. What makes you different, do you think? Because I'm sure that it hasn't been plain sailing. You start your business. Few months later, COVID hits. You've got to repivot. You've got to relook at it. And business, I suppose you can describe it as a roller coaster. All right. And some people just want to think to stop so they can jump off and go and find a job. You didn't do that. You rode the waves and you're still going. What's been your experience?
It certainly has been a roller coaster. That is one of the most like underrated ways to describe it. Um, it's been really hard. It's been really fulfilling. I think the biggest key to success, though, has been working with a mindset coach and really learning you cannot get too high on your wins, you cannot get too low on your losses. And there will be peaks and valleys, and it's not always up and to the right. There's a ton of cliches or expressions or sayings to put into place, but really is just trying to stay level-headed and know, all right, if we have systems in place, I'm not wondering where our next clients are going to come from. Because I know if we're running ads, if we're reaching out to people on LinkedIn consistently, we're adding people on Facebook, the numbers don't lie. Like we will get leads, we will get sales calls, and we will close people. But if you don't have anything, if you don't have any systems or anything predictable built into your business, that's when you really start to think, I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Mm,
Predictability is what's going to help you scale and see a longer term vision.
awesome. Great, great point there. Tell us about your system in terms of working with accountants, CPAs. Do you have a step-by-step process you can run us through? Is there something you can share that will help people to start thinking about their process and whether to establish, oh, it's actually not working. This sounds far better. I need to speak to James. What will be your process?
Yeah, with LinkedIn, I would say set up your profile to speak to your ideal audience. Don't try to speak to everybody. If you're selling to everybody, you're selling to nobody.
Yeah.
Think about who you really want to sell to. Have it in your cover photo. Make it really easy for people to get in touch with you. It starts with your profile on LinkedIn, because if that's not telling people who you are, the problems you solve, and who you work with, all of the outreach you do after is going to really struggle. You can publish articles, you can put your testimonials all on your LinkedIn page to grow a lot of your social presence and your authority. But after that, just sign up for Sales Navigator and think about who do I want to get in front of. If it's construction and they are 11 to 50 employees, and I just want to reach out to owners, 3+ years in business, you can automate a lot of the initial outreach, but even if you sit there and spend 30 minutes a day reaching out to 40 people to send a new message and a new connection to, over time, that is going to compound. You will get people responding back.
Mm,
It's just a matter of fact. The more people that go into your network, now you can start publishing articles, you can publish newsletters. So it's not you're just reaching out to people, you're constantly in their news feed providing value as a thought leader. And then where I think a lot of people miss the mark is once you get that lead, you have to qualify them. Put
mhm.
questions in your booking form that they're going to have to answer, or you ask them prior to them getting on your calendar. You need to respect your time and know, all right, do I want to speak to this person because they're a fit, or do I want to speak to them because they said yes?
Okay.
So that's where I would start. Just reach out to at least 30 to 40 people a day who's in your ideal audience. And then of those people who say yes, have some qualification questions in place to respect your time.
So 30 to 40 people a day. And there are people listening right now and thinking, James, you're killing me. 30 to 40 people a day. I'm trying to just run my business here. I'm busy. I know you hinted on the fact that a lot of this can be automated. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so you can definitely automate your outreach on LinkedIn, and you got to be protective and, strategic on how you're doing it because LinkedIn doesn't love automation. However, everyone on LinkedIn is using automation. So there's a fine line you got to walk. But even if you're not automating that process, start with 5 people, start with
Right.
10 people. The end of the week, that could be 50 more people than you're used to reaching out to.
Makes
So,
sense.
yes, even if you're just automating your connection requests, you're going to grow your network. People are going to see what you're doing. And like you said at the start of the recording, Mac, it doesn't matter how good your stuff is. If people don't know who you are and what you do, they're never going to buy it.
Mm.
You have to let people know what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, James, why LinkedIn compared to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, for those people who are in business and they are going B2B, why not these other channels? Why LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's a great question. We use Meta, so Facebook and Instagram for our clients as well. And there's definitely a time and place for it. I really like LinkedIn because it's a very cost-effective strategy. You don't have to worry about going out and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on paid ads because you can just reach out to people directly in their inbox,
Mm.
add them to your network, and now they're there forever unless they unfollow you. You can reach out to people for months. We still have clients that we've worked with in the past who've stopped because we've sent out their calendar link to so many people. They're still getting appointments booked 6 months after we've worked with them because those messages aren't deleted in somebody's inbox. So there is a ripple effect. Paid ads, as soon as you turn it off, that's it. There's no ripple effect that's taking place.
Mm.
So it depends on what your strategy is. If you have the money, if you have thousands of dollars to put into ads, awesome. You're going to get in front of a lot more people a lot faster. LinkedIn, it's almost like that hybrid of SEO. It's not going to be as slow as traditional SEO, but you are building an asset that will, stand the test of time.
Awesome. Listen, James, what are some of your clients? What kind of results are they getting from what they were doing before they started working with you? After working with you for a period of weeks or months or whatever, what have you got some examples or stories or case studies or what using LinkedIn or using your B2B lead generation system, how things have transitioned for them for the better?
Yeah. It's really going from a lot of clients when they come on board with us, they don't have a consistent way to generate leads. They're relying on referrals and word of mouth. But word of mouth is only good if you have a lot of people and you're asking those clients to send you referrals. So a lot of people will tell us, yeah, well, we rely on referrals, but they're only getting maybe one a month. So you're not really relying on referrals then. Like you're just hoping somebody sends someone your way. So if you're
Right.
only getting one opportunity a month to maybe close and they're not your ideal client, you don't have a system in place that's predictable to grow and scale. So what we've seen with our clients is giving them an opportunity to get them in front of about 8 to 12, sales calls, qualified business owners for their fractional CFO services every month.
Mm,
From there, we have dedicated sales training for all of our clients. So if we can get them speaking to, even if it's 5 to 6 people each month who have the budget, who have a need for their service because they vocalize it through LinkedIn and providing them sales training, is really low percentage they shouldn't be successful because they have all the tools, they have all the skills that they're going to need to close that person. Most recently, one of our clients, I think he's 2 weeks into a new campaign, he sent out a proposal for a $7,500 a month advisory contract.
mm.
So average ones are usually around like 2.5K per month. Depends on the size of the business we set up those meetings with. But again, if people don't know who you are and you don't have sales calls on your calendar every month, it's going to be really hard to grow your business.
Absolutely. One thing you said there is that you provide sales training systems for your clients because it's one thing getting the lead in, but if you don't know how to warm up that lead, build rapport, close the sale, then that lead doesn't really mean anything because they'll just go somewhere else and someone else will close them. Why is teaching your clients how to sell so imperative, so important?
Because for the first while when we were working with accountants, and I think it's most business owners in general,
Mm,
everyone's really good at what they do for the business, but they're not the best at providing that value and telling other people why they're good at it or figuring out, letting someone know, okay, well, this is what you're going to get from working with me. Here's the other side of the bridge. So we just ran into too many consistent issues of we can go out and get leads, then because we used to just get people leads. And then it was like, well, are they calling them? Are they booking appointments? No. So the leads are crap, they don't work, et cetera. We'd hear that. All right, so now let's book the appointments. Well, now we were starting to book appointments and people are like, well, we can't close anybody. They're bad appointments, et cetera. Okay. Well, let's listen to your sales calls. And we started listening to their sales calls and they weren't great.
it wasn't
So,
good.
okay, we're not going to sell for your accounting firm yet. That's what I would like us to get to in the future. But for the time being, here's a sales coach. Every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, show up, bring your questions. What objections are you facing? What do you need help with? Listen to others in your industry. So the next sales call you get on, you know what questions to ask, how to make it conversational, and just figure out, do I even want to work with this person versus I need this person. So
Mm,
it's a
mm.
two-way street. And I think too many people think about sales as like the used car salesman coming in, but
That's
it's
right.
just a conversation, figuring out, are we even a match for each other? Can I help you get from where you are now to where you want to be?
Absolutely. So critical. You're listening to James Donovan, the lead generation expert, B2B specifically, and LinkedIn expert as well. And Mac Attram here, your business and wealth coach. We are talking all things bringing more clients in so you can make a lot more what? A lot more money and grow your business. Now, what are you liking from this? Because we haven't finished yet. What are you liking so far? Make some comments right now. Show some emojis. You know, the algorithm loves engagement. So just put something in, ask a question, tell us what you've got out of this so far. I'll go back to James in a moment in terms of further questions and more insights into this. So, yeah, make sure you do that now and follow, subscribe, depending on which channel you are on. James, fantastic. James, lead generation. You're helping your clients. I love what you said. It's like we'll use LinkedIn. These people come through. Then we will go as far as booking the appointments for you if you want us to. And then we're going to teach you how to sell. And you've got to follow that because we're not selling for you. At some point, your team may get to that stage and sell for them and close for them. And I'm sure you'll make commission from there. Now, for those people listening in, thinking, all right, it's okay for James to talk about all this, but James, you don't really know my business. I'm a this type of business, or I'm a that type of business. Will LinkedIn work for me? People say Facebook I should be doing, or I should be using Twitter. I should be posting 10 times a day. I've got to hustle, hustle, hustle. Now, the hustle culture, I want to get your take on it. Does it really work? Is it predictable? Are people just heading for burnout by just trying to do all these things and not bringing anything in?
There's a couple things in there to touch on. Um, One, we just put out a video a couple weeks ago. Your ideal client is 100% on LinkedIn. There's over 1 billion users there.
Mm,
So that alone, if you use Sales Navigator to target, you're going to find more than enough people, more than you can likely serve who are on LinkedIn. You're going to be well past your capacity with the amount of people in your target audience who are just on LinkedIn. Facebook, same thing. There's, I think, 3 billion users on Facebook. So when business owners are like, well, no, I'm super niche. My people aren't there. Okay, sure. No problem.
interesting.
As far as the hustle culture goes, I was watching a video yesterday from Alex Ramosi, and he made a really good point that it's more about how effective you are during that time than
Mm,
just being super effective, or sorry, than just doing a lot of things in that time to feel effective. And he
mm,
made the analogy of the cartoon where the feet look like they're running at 1,000 miles an hour with the smoke or the dust underneath. But then someone beside you could take two big steps and they're a lot further ahead.
mm.
So I really try to think about what's the most effective use of my time, what's going to drive, what's going to move the ball forward the most and focus on those tasks. If you can certainly sit around all day and do busy work, but you're not really going to get any further ahead. It might be
Fantastic.
great for your ego and say, all right, I had a productive day. I checked 5 things off my list, but I would rather check off one thing that actually is making an impact.
Fantastic. Love that. Thank you. Listen, for those who want to know more or learn from you or get involved in what you're doing, or contact you, what's the best way for them to improve in what they're doing based on what you are talking about here?
LinkedIn for sure. I'd be
Okay.
very hypocritical if I didn't say LinkedIn after this
Uh,
conversation. So I'm on LinkedIn, or they can reach us at 92media.com. So NINETWO media.com. Would love to have a conversation. If it's a fit, cool. We'll see if we can do something. If not, I know a lot of people in the marketing space. I'll try to point you in their direction.
Superb. So that's 92media.com, right?
That's
Or
correct.
James Donovan on LinkedIn. Makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Hey, James, I want to say thank you for jumping on and giving us so much information. Now, is there anything I should have asked you that I haven't asked you that is critical at this time in terms of your expertise that people should know about?
It's a great question. I would just say think about who your target audience is.
Hmm.
And you should understand your customer if you've been in business long enough and have conversations with those individuals. Reach out and lean in with the pain point. Be the doctor who pushes on the bruise and says, "Does this hurt? Okay, well, I can help." If
Hmm.
they're people are only going to buy once they realize they have a pain that's that they need fixed. If they don't realize the pain's even there, they're not going to want to make a change. And
Love
you're
that.
in control of that with your message.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Awesome. Great point. Great last point there. Listen, James, I want to say thank you. Thank you for jumping on and giving us these insights and opening the eyes and ears of people who need to hear this so they can take their business forward. Thank you. And until we speak again, I'll catch up with you next time.
Thanks, Mac.
You're welcome. Hey, everyone listening in right now, remember to leave a comment, leave an emoji or something, and share this. Look, click subscribe, click like, do something that I know you are there, okay? And share with your colleagues and friends and partners. Until we speak again, time out. Mac Attram, speak soon. Bye for now.